Today, we're digging into a pretty huge revolution that's happening inside human resources. Seriously, it's a shift that's turning HR from a support role into a real strategic powerhouse. And it all boils down to one thing: technical competency. So let me ask you a quick question. When you think of HR, what comes to mind? Is it AI, data analytics, and cloud platforms? Because honestly, if it's not, your picture of HR might be a little out of date. This is the new reality of the job. So how in the world did we get here? Well, to really understand this big shift, we've got to go back to the very foundation of the HR profession, and that's its competency framework.
So what are HR competencies really? Well, put simply, they're that special mix of skills, knowledge, and behaviors that you absolutely need to succeed in any HR role. You can almost think of them as the DNA of a top-tier HR professional.
And this DNA, it kind of breaks down into three main parts. First up, you've got technical skills. That's all about the tools and systems. Then there are functional skills, which are more about the processes. And finally, you have behavioral skills, which, you guessed it, cover people and mindset. Remember those three, because they are absolutely key to everything we're about to talk about.
And, it's that very first category, the technical skills, that has suddenly become the new must-have for every single person in HR. This is the big story, the undeniable rise of what we're calling technical HR. And the evolution here is, well, it's dramatic. We've gone from what you might call old HR, which was mostly focused on paperwork and administration, to what our sources call new generation HR. And just to be super clear, new generation has nothing to do with age. It's all about a mindset that is strategic and deeply, deeply tech-driven. And look, this isn't some small change to the job description. One of our sources just lays it out there, plain and simple. HR is very, very technical. That one little sentence, it signals a massive shift. HR just can't be in its own little non-tech bubble anymore. Now, I know what you might be thinking. You might be asking the exact question from our source material. Okay, but why do I need technical skills? I'm not an R&D. And you know what? That's a totally fair question. And the answer really shows just how fundamental this change is. The answer is pretty straightforward. The entire world of HR now runs on technology. I mean, think about it. We've got digital platforms for our daily work. All our important employee data is stored on the cloud. We're using AI to find the best talent. Tech is literally everywhere. And in that kind of environment, being tech-savvy isn't just a nice-to-have, it's completely non-negotiable. All right, so what exactly should be inside this technical toolbox? Let's open it up and break down the essential skills that every modern HR pro needs to have. Okay, first thing you'll find is the Human Resource Information System, or the HRS. And being good at this today is about so much more than just data entry. We're talking about actually configuring the system, building out automated workflows, and tweaking forms to really get the most out of your software. Next up, data. This is where HR really makes the leap from an administrative job to a strategic partner. It's not enough to just pull reports anymore. It's about using things like advanced spreadsheet functions to turn all that raw data into actual insights that can drive the entire business forward. And the toolbox just keeps going. A modern HR pro needs a ton of digital skills, knowing how to use social media and SEO for recruiting, mastering video conferencing platforms, using macros to automate tasks. You even have to speak the language of tech now, SaaS, cloud, SFTP. It's a whole new world. But listen, mastering all that tech, that's only half the battle. Our sources are really clear about this. While technical skills are the new price of admission, they're pretty much useless without the timeless power of good old managerial skills. So what exactly are these managerial competencies? Well, think of them as the bridge that connects the other two types we talked about. They combine the process side of functional skills with the people side of behavioral skills. This is really where the strategy meets the humanity. And what are these skills? They're the classics, the bedrock of any great leader. Amazing communication, sharp critical thinking, real leadership, strong people skills, being adaptable, and just being great at building relationships. So why is this so important? Because tech skills help you manage systems? Sure, but managerial skills are what let you lead actual change. There's this great metaphor in the source material. An organization that stops changing is like stagnant water. It's leadership that keeps that water flowing and fresh. Okay, so how do we pull all of this together? The secret, really, is to think of all your skills like a strategic portfolio. And just like any good portfolio, it needs to be carefully balanced to be effective. If there's one thing to take away from all this, it's about balance. A top-tier HR professional today can't just be a tech wizard, and they can't be only a people person.
Real success comes from having a well-rounded portfolio that gives equal weight to technical, functional, and behavioral skills.
And when you get that balance right, your role in the company completely transforms. You're not just an administrator anymore, you become a change champion. And your ultimate goal? To be a capability builder for the entire company.
And that brings us to one final really important point. This whole journey isn't just about making yourself better. As the source material puts it, your responsibility is way bigger. You have to look after the competencies of the entire organization. Your job is to lift everyone up. So, the message is loud and clear. The modern HR pro has to build a balanced portfolio of technical, functional, and behavioral skills to really make a difference. And that leads us to the one last critical question. What's in yours?